my name is Karen Garrett. I'm going to be teaching you about grayscale in colored pencil, marker, acrylic paint, and watercolor. Then I'm going to be teaching you about how to use color on top of that grayscale. So at this point, we are going to learn some of the materials that we have. I want to show them to you. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Most of the stuff I've had for so many years just from projects and then get thrown in the art closet. And you don't have to really have been an artist. Everybody has some colored pencils, probably a little set of watercolors, maybe a bottle of acrylic paint, or if you don't, maybe ask your mom, your aunt, your friend, your brother, somebody. If you go in their garage, you're probably going to find, or their kid's room, you'll probably find a few art supplies that you can borrow for a weekend if you need to, okay? So, just a paper plate, and this is just a cheap Crayola, white, gray. They came in like a pack of 72, I think. This is a Crayola black, a Crayola gray pencil. It's just two little cheap brushes that are round, and they're not really bad. Like some of these are just like, they're like that, and they're not good. So you'll probably find a cup of brushes like this somewhere. A friend will have some. Just look for your tiny little roundish ones. That's going to be for watercolor. This is the sheet pack. Doesn't have to have black in there, but if it does, that's the best because you can have some white and some black and you can make all your grays. Otherwise, you just mix a few colors in here together and you'll wind up with a gray of some sort, okay? Then I have these watercolors that somebody's kid gave me. Those work fine. I have old Crafters acrylic paints. I got some black, gray, light gray, and some white. And then, of course, I have all of these markers, which are the expensive kind, Prismacolor, with my white tray, that you need a white tray. But I also have all of these really cheap markers that came in a set again of like 50 or 60 or whatever. And let's see, this is crazy art. I don't know. Got some expo markers in there too. It doesn't have to be fancy stuff. The ink will be fine. So whatever you have, gather together. You don't have to go by anything specific. You're just trying to get grazed in the acrylic watercolor, colored pencil, and marker, pencil, watercolor, acrylic. Okay, so those four things. Okay, so now here we are with marker paper. This is just a design I have from another class, and I'm going to show you how to use, we're going to just color things together, okay? So what I'm going to do at this point is change the angle of the camera so that you can see me work. This is going to be a little bit of experimental for you. It's hot. I'm in my studio right now. It's 98 degrees, so that's why it's really hot. I'm kind of used to it, but I like it anyway. Welcome to my studio. So let's change the angle here. You ready? Alright. Now, with colored pencils, you might be most comfortable with that. We are going to do a sample sheet right here. Sample your stuff before you ever use it. This one I could go lighter if I wanted to get a little bit of a middle tone charcoal, so I could go dark, light, darker, darker. And then of course the white that doesn't show, but if I do it on top of some other stuff it might show. Alright, so when you work on this skirt, let's say, I'm going to go with the lighter one, which was this one right here. To start, I can always go darker, I can never go lighter, right? So, here we are. Underneath something, you're going to have a shadow. So that's underneath this flap. Now look, there's this belt. We go underneath that too. Do not make the mistake of people, like if here's the flap and there's the belt and there's the skirt, somebody will every time will make a shadow around the whole outfit as if you should do that. Don't do that. And underneath here. Don't put a shadow around the garment. So here we are again. Shadow underneath there. Shadow. Shadow. If the light is hitting this direction, then the shadow is going to be on the other side. So if the light's hitting here, this is a little difficult because, well, if the light's hitting here, it might be going through there. But you know pretty much if there's a wrinkle, there's going to be some shadowing. You are trying to keep a lot of white on this garment, or any garment, because you are going to put color, and think about it. If you mix a pretty color with, this is the shadow side of the garment, if you mix a pretty color with gray, it'll gray the pretty color down. So you have to have some gray where the shadows are, but you want to keep it mostly white. Alright, so now at this point I'm going to go up with my tone, get a little bit darker. See how much more beautiful that became? And the dimension is lovely. Go all the way to the edge, don't leave a halo. So nice. This is so much fun. I mean, I feel like I'm sculpting, but I'm just using colored pencil. And it's just becoming this gorgeous garment that I really like. Shadow side in there, other side of the garment. So pretty. Okay, so I want you to enjoy the beautiful, beautiful pencil work. Don't leave a halo there, like we just did. Okay, so that's just so pretty. And I might want to have a very middle tone shade. Just a middle tone, a little bit. It's got a little more blue. At some point when you're having so much fun, you just have to stop yourself and say, oh, I gotta wait for color. Okay, so that's that one. I'm gonna put my pencils away for another day. And now we're going to use the marker. So they come in different kinds of colors. So I have 20% of gray, 50% of gray, 30% of gray, 10% of gray, and na-na-na-na-na. And here's 100%, which is black. So like I said, you only need one color. So we're going to do this one. It's a little bit of a brownish black. You dab it onto the tray so it leaves the ink. Let me try my cheap pen. Here's my cheap pen. We're going to do a little, oh, that's green. Don't want green. And then, here's my Expo. Oh, here's my Expo marker. We'll try that one. So see, got some nice ink going on there. All right, so now let's try this. You must have a clear blender. It's called a Colorless Blender. Here it is. Okay, so a Colorless Blender. So now let's do the top. So I'm going to take the cheap marker and I'm going to stir off a little bit of that black until I get a nice middle tone gray, and do it the same way. See how much fun that is? Now I'm going to try my good black, that's supposedly like the fancy black. And that works just the same. See what I'm talking about? You don't have to buy art supplies every time. But in every little wrinkle, on the shadow side of the garment, that's yep, too green. We'll do a little bit of it inside. Don't, remember, not too much. Not too much. Gray. You want it just enough, but not too much, because why? We want to put colors on here. And colors that mix with gray turn dull. Alright, so I'm just using my light shade. You're going to really enjoy this. The minute I was taught how to do this, I just thought, this is it. The ball. Okay, so we're just going to keep our middle tone. Shadow side, maybe some volume there. Notice that some of the blacks are bluer a taupey dress that had a pink cast to it, I might do French gray. Alright. And now, if I want to have a little shadow on that back part, I'm going to use my big flat. I'm going to get it really, 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 really thin. And I'm going to use my flat marker just to show that that is in the back. And you kind of have to keep the marker going, otherwise you'll get some lines in it. Okay, so what if I want to make it a little darker? You just do it again, and just do more ink. So watch this. A little darker there. A little darker there. So, isn't that pretty? It's just so pretty. I love it. Okay, so now that's that. So this is the markers, and that was the pencils that we did. We're going to put those away for another day. Oh, and watch this. Nothing. It doesn't, you just don't have to wash it off. Just leave it on there. It's always good. Even if it dries up, you can take the Colorless Blender, and it comes right back to life. Alright, so all of that's put away. Now, let's do our watercolor. Let's do our cheap tray. See? Alright, so here's our little cheap tray of watercolors. And it actually came with a brush. Who knew? Okay, well, that brush is yucky. Ah! Oh my gosh. Okay, this brush is yucky, but yucky is better than no brush. So if you don't use the yucky brush. Okay, so I'm going to go right here. Do not go bang, bang, bang in the water, because then your brush will turn out like that, and it's like you can't paint with a hockey stick, right? Okay, so I'm going to take my black, same thing. I'm going to go over here, stir it around in there. Now, I'm going to put it in my tray because I can't tell what color of gray I have here. And then I'm going to take my water, and I'm going to go over here, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to make myself some little places so that I can go from not very dark to dark. Remember, you can always get darker, but you can't go lighter. Alright, same situation. Gray, some watercolor. And don't you just feel like you're having so much fun? There's lots of you who've never painted in your whole life. So this is going to be the beginning of a fantastic future for you. Because painting and being an artist is quite a gift. Okay, so, and this is my fun free sketch. So I'm going to be a little more fun and free. I'm not going to try to be so on the edge. In fact, see how I just went across the edge a little bit? Okay, now, but I did not go around the whole thing with a shadow. Don't go around it like shadow. Okay, so watercolor. This is why you like marker paper or multimedia paper, because it will take all of the media. Oh, shoot. I don't want to do that. I'll do that with acrylic. Okay, pretend I didn't do that. Okay, now I'm going to darken it up some places. Last but not least, my other little tray. This is going to be for acrylic paints. Do a little bit of black in there, a little bit of gray in there. I mean, you just really don't need that much. And so if you have a friend who is, that's my dog. Jock, go get your bally. Where's your ball? Did you put it over here? Go get your bally. So yeah, that's your friend. Okay, so you don't need that much. So if you have a friend out there who's willing to let you use some of their paints and supplies, please don't just pour the whole thing in there. I mean, I will throw most of that away, okay? So you don't need very much, and you don't want to be wasteful of your friend's supplies when you don't want to buy your supplies too, right? Always think of others. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take the black, get a little water, and I'm I'm going to kind of dab it into my tray. Mix it with the white. Turn my brush. I'm trying to turn my brush so I'll get a point. And you can go like this and turn it and pull, and it'll get into a nice little point. So at this point, if it's too thick like this, it might be a problem for you. It needs to have a little bit of water in there. So let's go back up to this place where I actually use the water. So it's a little bit sticky still. So I'm going to add a little more water. Now, this paint will take a little longer to dry than, obviously, the pencil. The marker will dry immediately, and the watercolor dries faster than this. So try not to get your hand in it while it's drying. And it will have more of an opaque look to it than the other mediums that you're going to be using. Come back in with your black pen to see I got darker in the shadows, and that's just so painterly fun. It's called painterly. Okay. I'm using my gray to kind of straighten that one right there. Isn't this? Oh, see, I just went crazy. I went in my watercolor area. That was so much fun. I was just like trying to, wow. Jumping all these boundaries here. Just wanted to kind of go to town on my grayscale everywhere. I love to paint. Painting so much fun. Okay, but anyway, that looks beautiful. And what are we going to do here? We have a little bit of a shadow. So I'm going to go back to my gray, water it down a lot. And then, so notice that the paint will have more brush strokes in it than watercolor and marker and pencil, because it just is. So I like it though. It's nice. All of them are nice. So there's your 4 for the grayscale. Once they're all dried, and give yourself time because you don't want to ruin your pen, then you can always come back and do the black lines one more time if you need to make them crispy and pretty. Alright, so that is for grayscale, and I hope that it was wonderful and helpful to you on your garments. I'm loving doing